Occultism, folklore, and the paranormal are all topics that have fascinated me ever since I was little. There's this show about, well, what I mentioned, that my dad and I sometimes used to watch, and it lit a spark in me that has slowly faded away because I've come to realize that all that stuff is kind of garbage, to be honest. Sometimes find myself reading stuff like Stupid Pagan Rituals, The Export on 4chan, and recently I've been watching Bigfoot Encounters on YouTube because I'd like to reminisce about those times. When I heard that there was this shonen manga about that stuff I mentioned again, I just had to check it out for myself to see if my love for dumbass conspiracy theories was still there. It wasn't, but at least I found a new show I love. So yeah, Dandadan, one of the most popular new gen shonen as the kids call it. Probably one of the most popular anime during this 2024 fall season. Maybe my third favorite ongoing shonen jump release, just behind Rory Dragon and Chainsaw Man. This series has made me forsake sleep just to catch up to the latest chapter like thrice. But before I get any further, if you like my content, please like, comment and subscribe, and let me know what your thoughts are on Dandadan in the comments below, preferably after watching the video. So, what is Dandadan? Okay, the worst way I can describe Dandadan is that it's a story about schizoposters and new age spiritualists fighting against aliens, yokai, cryptids and more. It starts with top X user Kenta Kakura or Okarun. He has the same name as the late actor who appeared in movies like Manhunt and Bullet Train. Not to be confused with Manhunt and Bullet Train. Momo Ayase, who just broke up with her Kenta Kakura looking boyfriend. I almost forgot to mention this, but Momo has a huge crush on Kenta Kakura. It's a big part of her character and it makes for a lot of pretty funny jokes. I'm talking about the actor here, not Okarun. He's busy being bullied by his classmates until Momo intervenes. After that, they get into a fight over whether spirits or aliens exist, which ends up with Okarun going to an abandoned tunnel that's supposedly haunted by the Turbo Granny. If you ever played Soul Hackers or watched Mob Psycho, you probably recognize her. She's an actual yokai, I'm not kidding. Also, he gets possessed by the Turbo Granny, which comes with huge life-altering consequences like him losing his balls, while Momo goes to an abandoned hospital, where she ends up being abducted by aliens, and also she awakens her inner psychic powers. Okarun and Momo proceed to fight the aliens. Okarun bites an alien's thingy off, and they fall in love. I just love the first chapter of Dandadan, man. It's got everything about the series that I like. It's got some pretty funny moments, it's got some nice character interaction, it's got a fucking yokai fighting a lot of aliens at the end. It's just chef's kiss. And the series just gets better once more characters are introduced, at least in my opinion. I wish I could talk about a few of them because they're pretty good, but again, this is an anime video and I don't want to spoil the manga. Also, I love the way that every arc ends with the characters just eating a feast and stuff. It kind of reminds me of Fate Stay Night, I'm not even gonna lie. Anyways, let's talk about the fights, cause they're frankly my favorite part of the series. I swear that Yukinobu Tatsu is on that shit. George H. Scalise is when he's doing Ancient Aliens with how insane they get with the real life lore they use and how they play out in general. And the flow feels extremely natural. It's less like they're doing a fight and more like they're doing improv instead of fighting. I don't know if that makes sense, so I'll use an example here. Halfway through the most recent fight in the anime, as of recording, our protagonists find themselves pursued by a giant crab that can control the souls of the dead. Seemingly unstoppable and about to catch them, so they go into some public bath because the explanation they give in the show is that crab muscles atrophy when boiled, and I love those kinds of leaps of logic. They just make stuff much more interesting in my opinion, when done well obviously. If you just pull some bullshit out of thin air, it's probably not gonna work. But anyways, it works and the crab is temporarily stopped. It's just stuff like this that make Dandadan so special in my heart. It kinda reminds me of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure a little bit. I wish I could talk about the crazier parts of the story, but again, this is an anime video, not a manga one. But these fights wouldn't work half as well if the characters or actors, if you wanted to continue the stupid improv metaphor, weren't as good as they were. And I think they're pretty fun to watch. I already talked about why I like the characters a bit, so I'll keep this section brief. The way they're written makes me wish I still had friends, and individually they're all really well written, and it helps that no character is wasted. If they appear once, you can bet they'll appear again if the situation calls for it, or if it would make for a funny joke or two. Let's talk about how this manga has amazing art. It's just very fluid, I think, and I'm no artist, and frankly I don't think I can actually appreciate art, but despite that I think it looks amazing. I'm glad the anime has animation that's up to par with the art, because I've been burned so many times by anime adaptations that I've stopped trusting them. Overall, I feel like Dandadan somehow manages the impossible by feeling grounded despite the craziness that goes on all over the show. Other anime and manga would feel like they jumped the shark if they tried half of what Dandadan will do and has done, and I know this just sounds like mindless glazing, but I really don't care. I genuinely think that Dandadan is one of, if not the best battle shonen out there right now. Maybe there's some competition, but I don't care. Also, have you heard the anime opening?